Much of the country is being adversely affected by a storm front that moved in yesterday. Gale force winds led to the temporary closure of sections of both motorways leading to the Adriatic coast, as well as several coastal highways and the bridge to the northern island of Krk, and traffic restrictions are still in effect in most of these areas. The northern coastal city of Rijeka has been especially heavily hit by the storm, with gale force winds and heavy rains causing damage to buildings and infrastructure, as well as power failures. Electric company emergency response crews have been on call all night and this morning. As expected, emergency rooms are also crowded due to a high number of injuries. The situation is not much better in the capital city, Zagreb. Part of an old building collapsed in a large parking lot just outside of the downtown area. The site is being supervised by the police as cleanup crews are being deployed. Public transport is also experiencing delays, and the strong winds have blown down tree limbs and sometimes entire trees and torn off roofing from homes and other buildings. Negotiations for a new collective agreement with healthcare sector trade unions continued in the Croatian Health Ministry today. All negotiating sides expect the talks to conclude this week with the initialing of a new agreement. If this does not happen, Physicians Union President Ivica Babic announced a collection of letters of resignation from physicians. This afternoon, the Croatian Parliament's task force on amending the Constitution will hold its first session. Otherwise, it is still unclear as to whether the Constitutional Court will examine the constitutionality of holding a referendum to constitutionally define marriage as a union between a man and a woman. Many consider the referendum question unconstitutional, and others have said the procedures are unclear. However, both Prime Minister Zoran Milanovic and parliamentary opposition leader Tomislav Karamarko claim that the referendum will indeed be constitutional, regardless of what each thinks of the question. In sports, in anticipation of the coming additional qualification playoff for next year's World Cup in Brazil, the members of Croatia's national football team gathered in Buzin, just outside of Zagreb, to hold their first practice under the watchful eye of new coach Niko Kovac. The Croatian team will face Iceland, with the first match scheduled this Friday in Reykjavik. In basketball action in the regional ABA League, on Sunday evening, Croatia's Cedevita lost to Crvena Zvezda in an away game in Belgrade with a score of 59-73. And finally, the weather forecast for the rest of the day. Skies will remain overcast and rainfall will continue, mainly in Dalmatia, where there is a chance of thunderstorms. Snowfall is expected in the northwest inland zones adjacent to the coastal belt. Moderate to strong northern winds will blow inland, while Bora winds will pummel the Adriatic coast, reaching storm and gale force intensity on the northern coast. Today's temperatures will range from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius at the higher elevations, 5 to 10 degrees inland and on the northern coast, and 11 to 16 degrees Celsius on the central and southern coast.